Drop dubs, hit routes, so yeah, we on the move. From the paint to the pocket, got nothing to prove. Precision in the pass, rhythm in the run. Every play, every day, till the work is done. Yeah. Step on the field, I'm reading the D. Eyes wide open, ain't fooling me. Pump fake, sidestep. I'm breaking the press from baseline to sideline. I'm bringing my best. Snap back, quick glance. I'm calling the play. Hoop dreams and touchdowns. I'm making my way. No look behind the back. Fred in the scene. Every angle, every shout. I'm chasing a dream. Drop times, hit routes in the deep, no doubt. From the field to the hardwood, hear the crowd shout. Pass it, dish it, through traffic. We find.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to Passion and Precision. We are back with another fun episode. Hopefully you are enjoying yourself, enjoying your day, and hopefully you'll enjoy your weekend. But thankful that you're going to spend some time with us. We've got a lot to go through. We're going to talk about some NBA drama, as well as Jory and I are going to deep dive into a certain superstar's career and really break down where it all went wrong and why it's continued to go wrong. We're also going to talk about a couple of races in the NBA that we are paying close attention to. Also have NFL to talk about. And of course, at the end of the show, we got Final Burn. So make sure you stick around for that. Always a good time. But before we get into all of that, once again, the professional feather plucker herself, Jory, is here. Jory, how are you doing?
I'm okay. My finger's not, but
Right. Yes.
Bella.
I mean, yeah.
Look, I'm excited to talk some sports. I'm kind of over the whole. I'm over a couple of things, but we'll get into that.
Right. Yes. We will definitely get into all of that. And look, we're going to kick it off with the NFL and the wide receiver market. You know, we saw JSN get paid, well deserved. He had a breakout season last year. He's established himself as one of the premier young wide receivers in the NFL. But now it's kind of brought up some other wide receivers that are out there who might be looking for money in the next year or so, as well as free agents that are still out there. You got Stephon Diggs out there, Jawan Jennings, who might be a little bit older, but still kind of play a part in the free agency wide receiver market. So I guess looking at it as a whole, you know, what are your thoughts on JSN getting his deal? What his deal could mean for other wide receivers out there? And probably once again, like why Jawan Jennings and Stephon Diggs are still available this late into the free agency.
And those two, Stephon, he got some legal trouble, so that's the only reason to speak to him.
Yeah.
Jennings, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about Jennings.
Yeah. He seems like he'd be a good fit. You know, young wide receiver core. He's a guy who would come in and be productive. And look, maybe he's just waiting out his opportunity, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. You better hurry up. Because in a minute, they're going to start drafting receivers. And once they start doing that,
yeah,
who knows? But it's, I think Pickens signed his tag, but I think next year he's gonna want that type of money.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of other, I think, with JSN getting paid what getting paid now, it just puts the wide receiver position definitely on a bigger map.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's more of a luxury. to have a decent wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it means that you actually develop your receivers instead of giving up on them. Let them actually develop into who they're supposed to be while they're cheap,
Yeah.
and then decide when to put the bag on them. But hmm, and I'm gonna talk about that biting ass Ram Puka later. But his
Yeah.
contract due soon too.
Okay.
He is gonna break the market, and he don't need to. Baby Shark, what the hell?
I think we have learned a little bit too much about Puka this offseason, and I don't know, like, because you just referenced the whole biting thing. I don't get it. At first, I read it. It was like, oh, Puka bites woman. I was like, okay, that's weird enough. Then I heard about him like passing out, woman dancing on him. He wakes up and he bites her, and I'm like, huh? This is what we're doing? This is what people are doing out now? Like, look, Puka's just a different guy. We'll just have to file it under that. But yeah.
What did they do to him at BYU?
Well, I mean, BYU, I guess he got out of that, you know, Mormon environment. Not saying necessarily that's what all BYU, but like he got out of that and he didn't know what to do with himself. He out here just acting crazy. Will Anderson Jr. is going to break the market for edge rushers. Absolutely, he
And
will.
that's why Houston keeps being cheap on offense and it's not working
Yeah.
because they're preparing to pay Will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which I mean, look, even for Houston, it's you would like to think your quarterback in CJ Stroud would kind of get that side of the ball together to offset what they're trying to do defensively. I don't think it's a stupid way to thinking of building your team. It's just that CJ Stroud now has to play like he did his rookie season. Also, Tank Dell needs to stay healthy and needed to stay healthy. Nico Collins needed to stay healthy. Like they need to find a running back. That's for some reason been difficult for them to do. So the offensive line, they keep just swapping out people and then wondering why it doesn't work. I don't know. Keep the same group together for more than a year. You never know. Crazier things have happened. Houston's GM isn't really good at finding O linemen. He's had multiple drafts to do so. I mean, that's a fair assessment. Either that or he's just really jumpy and just acts on a whim. I don't know. I'm sure Jury's not losing any sleep over Houston's dysfunction. So
Mm-mm, I'm not. As much crying as they've done this off season, I could give a rat's ass about the function or dysfunction of the Houston Texans.
right,
They've done
exactly.
enough crying over the color blue than I've done crying over anybody that's died.
Most GMs
Like,
are not good at drafting outside the first round.
Borg's hit.
Mm-hmm.
Borg's cooked. He cooked. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
look, drafting is obviously a big part of the process. There's a reason why it's not 100% because taking college kids, implementing them into an NFL style doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be successful right away. Some of these teams are too quick to move off of young players when they don't immediately show impact, whereas it could just be that they're slow at adjusting or whatever. But it's an NFL where you got to win. You got to win now, or they're going to find somebody else who's going to do it for you. So there's a lot that goes into it. And, that's what makes, I guess, being good at the draft such a remarkable feat. If you can, scour through the millions of prospects that are out there and consistently hit on good ones, like you're definitely doing something that a lot of teams can't. Plus, you
Both
also don't know what
Alec,
it, you also don't know what college kids are going to do once you put big money in their hands as well.
both Alec and Tamira DK were left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I'm like, my GM is a good GM.
right. I mean, it's easy to kind of point out the good ones as opposed to the bad ones. I mean, we talk about all the time the Bengals and their their constant needs that they just don't seem to fill. That's obviously a front office that we look at and criticize a lot more than the Eagles or whoever
That's a front
who seem
office
to
that
kind
don't know how to find offensive line talent,
of. Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
they have a knack for defensive talent. They just don't keep them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's look if it were, I guess if it were easy to run a team, everybody's team would be good at it, and the whole league would be 500, and it'd be whatever. Some of these ownership groups, their focus is on different things outside of necessarily the product on the field. If they could fill a stadium and they go 0-17, some ownership groups could care less.
Haslam,
There you go. I like Detroit's GM. Yeah. Which I mean, Detroit's kind of not come under scrutiny necessarily, but there's been a lot of focus on Detroit with so many pieces that they've lost recent years, and not that they're on the downturn or anything like that, but they they've had to do some kind of correcting. But I guess
now,
getting back to, oh, go ahead.
because I wanted to point out a couple of things.
Yep.
Let me tell you, yes, there's a couple of teams. There's one team who has done nothing during
Okay.
free agency.
Mm-hmm.
There's a team that's done next to nothing
Okay.
during free agency so far.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Actually, there's two teams that's done next to nothing in the same division.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Key.
I'm looking at it.
I know one of the teams who've done next to nothing. I know Jacksonville's kind of just re-signed their own guys, which that's definitely a way to go about it.
They barely did that.
I mean, yeah, because they did lose people in the process. I mean, look, they might be looking at the draft, putting a lot of emphasis on replenishing that way, which you can do. It's a risk because if you miss on a couple of those picks, then you kind of stunt your own growth. But if you hit, you get talent for what next 4 or 5 years, and you kind of keep the train moving.
Oh, there's two teams that have done
Yeah,
next to nothing,
Tapa says the same thing. Our GM wants to build through the draft. I actually don't. I don't have a problem with that. Uh, that way
but
of
they've
team
done
building.
nothing. Y'all have done nothing. Nothing.
Lloyd had one good year. He's somebody who did leave.
I'm not tripping because
Right.
if y'all doing nothing, that means that damn sunshine gonna get exposed soon, and everybody is gonna be on the same track that I was. That
Mm-hmm.
sunshine peaked in college. Y'all gonna see it. Y'all gonna know that I'm right. Call it right here. I said exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, after what they did last season, there is, at least there should be, pressure on Lawrence now, because the the assumption now is Cohen is a good coach. So if Cohen's a good coach, Lawrence doesn't have that as a reason anymore. Because I know we talked about it before. Everybody talked about the Urban Meyer year, which was now years ago, and then you got Peterson, who, coming off of the Eagles stuff, and then went there. But now it seems like Cohen is the guy. So coaching is no longer a problem. So if they don't succeed next year, if they take a step back or anything, everybody should be looking at the quarterback. Which, once again, I'm sure you're not losing any sleep over.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Thomas said himself, he's been exposed.
One
Yeah.
team that's done nothing in Jacksonville, and three teams that have done next to nothing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing to see next to nothing. Baltimore.
Ding, ding, ding.
Have the Colts done a lot?
Yes, they signed Arden, stupid ass. They signed Nick Westbrook Akine. They re-signed Mo Alley Cox. They signed Daniel Jones. They signed Cam Taylor Britt. And they signed this Akeem Davis Gaither. I have it right here.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, Cam Taylor Britt. Hmm. We'll
You
see.
can get burnt.
Well, I mean, they're paying Sauce to get juked out by top wide receivers right now. So what's another guy?
Good luck with that.
Newsom got burnt every game. Wingard was a special team player, not sweating those losses either. Which, I mean, look, as you said, Top, if your GM is going to build through the draft, then you have to be kind of okay letting go guys to keep the talent coming through. They gave Pierce all that money. Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see if that pays off. They clearly chose Alec Pierce over Michael Pittman. I'm a Michael Pittman guy, but we'll see if Pierce is the better wide receiver in that system.
Who 51 million? Who?
I think it's talking about the Jags were 51 million and had 51 million in dead cap.
Oh, not that's not my problem. I got $91 million. I got $63 million in cap space. That is not my problem.
Thanks to Trent Baalke. Yeah.
And I hope y'all never solve it.
I mean, look,
Respectfully.
I'm assuming they're not the Saints. They will figure it out. It's crazy that Baalke was also the guy who like kept candidates from interviewing there. And to think if they had just said like, "Hey, Baalke, here's your walking papers," like who could have been coaching Jacksonville at this point? I mean, technically, if you want to get the whole Doctor Strange thing going, it could have been Robert Saleh. Remember, Saleh was a guy who I believe didn't want the job because Baalke was there.
And now that we got Robert Saleh, we're bringing that rivalry back. And Saleh did that in that crap that happened in Jacksonville last year. He doesn't like y'all.
Yeah.
Period.
Let's see. Okay, so Thomas says the dead cap clears after this season. Okay, so it's not too burdensome. Okay, that's
I ain't
good.
got them issues. I don't have those issues.
Yes.
And there's two other teams that's done next to nothing.
Yeah, Ben Johnson was the other one who did not want the job because of Baalke. Yeah, I knew there was a couple of them. I'm trying to think. Of teams that weren't really active. Let's see. I think Pittsburgh did stuff. I think it's an NFC team. Did the Cowboys do a lot?
No.
Okay, that's what I was trying to think. 'Cause I remember, Jerry was talking about we're gonna spend, and then the off season came and it was like they did like one or two things, if that.
They franchised Pat Pickens and they restructured Rashawn Gary.
Yeah. Hey, look, we all know the Cowboys' biggest issue is the man running the show. But the man running the show isn't going to fire himself. So, this is what you get. Talks a big game. Also, if you are watching, we do have a Discord where Jory has been doing a free agency tracker over on our WordPress, and so if you get in the Discord, you can see it. She's been tracking all this. It's been a lot. It's been over like 100 signings and all that during this off
Mm-hmm.
season. So it's definitely been a lot to keep up with. So, um, get the link and put it in the chat for those of you who want to join the Discord so you can talk to us in between our shows every Friday. Let's see, who's the other team that hasn't done much?
It was Pittsburgh.
Did the Chiefs do a lot outside of Kenneth Walker?
They traded for Justin Fields.
I mean, yeah. I am interested to see, like, if Reed and Bieniemy are, I guess, the missing piece to Justin Fields. We're probably not going to see him a lot, obviously, but can they do enough with him that maybe he shows something in preseason and some other team? I don't know. Because, like I said, I was a big Justin Fields fan coming out of Ohio State, and it just has not worked out. If the Raiders have a good draft, they win the offseason. Not gonna lie, I don't hate that. Chiefs got a first rounder from the Rams. Miami selling everyone. Well, yeah, I think Miami needed to. They needed to do a refresh. So Tyreek
Mm-hmm.
Hill, another wide receiver, still out there. Even I feel like it's gonna probably be with him, probably Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
or we know every year Baltimore loves chasing a name.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, I saw, I think over the weekend, somebody said with Stephon Diggs, it might come down to Baltimore or Tennessee. So why not throw Tyreek Hill in there as well?
Hell no.
No, I'm not saying for you. I'm saying for Baltimore. Baltimore's clearly just looking for big name wide receivers. Then go get Tyreek Hill.
Hey, what?
Miami's tanking for Arch. Fans are already asking for it. But I mean,
Don't do Malik like that.
I'm just saying, like, they just signed Malik Willis. Why would you then turn around to tank for Arch Manning? Like, they could have just went to the season with Quinn Ewers and then tanked
Mm-hmm.
to get Arch.
Do not do Malik like that.
Also,
I'm very protective of Malik.
I know, yes. He showed a lot of improvement at Green Bay, but almost,
Topper. How many receivers have they drafted in the first round?
yeah, exactly. Plus, if you look at that team, if you're going to use your first round pick, there's probably other positions you could use it on other than wide receiver right now. Mainly a lineman.
A center.
Because our favorite, Falele, is a free agent. I don't think they're going to be crazy enough to bring him back.
I don't
So,
think they're that slow.
so they need a guard. Probably don't take a guard in the first round. That's not necessarily a glamour pick, but
I don't think they're that slow. If they re-sign that man, they're slower than a damn Portis.
I kind of
Um,
assume he ends up in New York somehow. I feel like Harbaugh does it.
for what? They just re-signed one bad offensive lineman in Evan Neal. Why would they go get another one? Who's Evan Neal like?
I don't know.
Actually, no, he's Evan Neal on steroids. He's worse.
Like I told y'all, Arch is going to be the most talked about player next offseason leading to. I already knew that. It's only because his last name's Manning, and I don't know. I don't think the hype is necessarily going to be worth it, but you know,
They're gonna
mm,
do the same thing to him. What they did, they should do on a different level.
well, nah, I think Arch will get treated differently.
I mean, the name, like
No, no,
because of
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. I will see. Arch needs to put together a good season at Texas because there are some other wide receivers who will be a part of that draft class. That if they have better seasons, then I don't care what your last name is. I'm taking them over you.
the Ravens also lost a whole bunch of people in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't use that first round pick on a wide receiver.
Yeah. How about the
Go
off
sign.
season of the fullback? Ricard moves. Baltimore loses. I mean, not Baltimore. Buffalo loses Reggie Gilliam,
Mhm.
which I think is an underrated loss for them as well. Way to go, Mike Vrabel.
Mhm.
I was shocked. Baltimore let Ricard leave. He seemed like he was going to be like a Raven for life, but hmm,
No, because they wanted Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson, so they had to let half the team walk.
yeah. Hmm.
Bullshit.
I guess we also have to think about it because Minter is coming from the well, Chargers used the fullback, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, so I, mm, I guess we'll assume they'll draft one in the later rounds, I guess, or
I hope he
undrafted
don't
free.
try to turn that other runner, the 22 into a fullback. That's not what he does.
I don't think Minter's that bold to try that.
I
I
would
don't think
demand
Derrick
a,
Henry would go for it.
I would demand a trade for him.
I believe in the Ravens defense being better than their offense.
I
I
think both of them stink.
well, I'm assuming Top is saying he'd have more faith in Minter, I guess, fixing the Ravens defense over the offense because, as he said, losing Linderbaum was a big mistake. I can definitely agree with that. But as we saw, what Linderbaum signed for, Ravens were going to pay that.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I mean, the Linderbaum loss with the Ricard loss, the running game will be interesting to see next season. Obviously, we'll have to see what the draft brings them. But
They lost Keaton Mitchell.
yeah, I mean, losing running backs, there's so much of them in the draft that I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal. Especially with Mitchell, he was the third running back because we know Justice Hill is the secondary guy. No, it absolutely was, but Raiders had the money to do it. So
Hmm.
I will give the Raiders credit for doing that because the Raiders' offensive line has been a mess. They basically like threw in extra money for Linderbaum to kind of be the centerpiece to hopefully a much improved offensive line. They used a high
And
draft pick on Genty, and they need to be able to create running lanes for him. Raiders better
you
win at
know,
least 7 games.
another big one that's gonna hurt is Likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's mainly because it seemed like, according to Ravens fans, Likely was supposed to be the guy once Andrews was pushed out the door to kind of take over the number one role. Well, you don't have him anymore.
What if Harbaugh did that on purpose? Push the front office to sign him, knowing that he was probably going to end up leaving soon, and then take Likely with him. Because
It
he
would
ended
make
up in New York.
it would make me like him a little bit more. I mean, that would be. I feel like the competitive nature that we think of in Jim Harbaugh. If John pulled strings like that, I might have to give him credit for that. I don't think it worked out that way. I think he just lucked in to obviously a good relationship with Likely. That Likely was willing to go to New York because Likely had other suitors, but he went to New York to join his former coach. And we'll see if Jackson Dart has as much, probably has more success, I guess, with him than Lamar did. Which some of that
Yeah,
was, likely injuries and stuff like that. But I believe Likely's highest catch season wasn't it only like 35, 40 catches or something.
he wasn't utilized.
Well, I mean, yes, because their offense was definitely run centric, Lamar scrambling centric, and Mark Andrews centric. Whereas in New York, yeah, Likely goes in there. Jackson Dart's probably going to target him maybe second or third most after obviously Neighbors when he gets back. Yeah, Likely factors in a big way into that secondary receiving market.
Hmm.
But also Ricard going there, I think Dart's gonna love that. I think Scatterboo's gonna like that. Look, New York, depending on how that division kind of shakes out, because we just talked about the Cowboys didn't necessarily improve themselves greatly. The Eagles, it seems like once the AJ Brown stuff kind of finally quiets down, maybe their season will take better shape. But the Commanders, as much momentum they had a couple of years ago, seeing Jaden Daniels constantly getting beaten around last season has kind of slowed that momentum.
Hmm.
All right, let's go. Let's get into the NBA, where we have an MVP race that is definitely playing out. And Eagles fixed their problem on defense, cornerback 2. I mean, yes, but even last season, the Eagles were a talented team on paper, but it just seemed like the AJ Brown stuff and Patullo as an OC really kind of overshadowed it. Now,
Hmm.
Patullo being gone, we'll see if that probably was a bigger fix than necessarily the AJ Brown drama if they do keep him. But we'll have to see because now everybody's going to look at June 1st to see what they do around that. But the NBA MVP race, I looked at the Vegas odds about an hour before we came on here, and Jory, I don't know, you might be surprised at how Vegas has the race shaken out. So right now, the odds-on favorite, according to Vegas, SGA. Okay. Second, Wemby. Third, Luka. Fourth, Jokic, and it said Jokic's number is based off his eligibility because he has like a game or two he can miss before he misses the 65 game mark. Jaylen Brown has fallen to fifth to Vegas. And number 6, because Cade Cunningham has a collapsed lung, is now Jalen Brunson. I saw that list, almost threw my phone through the wall.
That list is some bullshit. Because
I'm
what
gonna
more
let
does
you
Jalen
react
Brown
to it
have to
first.
do? What more does Jalen Brown need to do?
You are preaching to the choir right now.
What more does he need to do? This is coming from a Laker fan. What the
Mhm.
hell else does he need to do? Go kiss Jesus' left toe? What is going on here? Papa, they have one, and they're disrespecting him. He's
Mhm.
carried this damn Boston team all freaking season. All season.
Yep.
What more does Jalen Brown need to do? Because it really should be, in my eye,
Mhm.
Luca at 4 is too low. SGA ain't done shit that we ain't seen but flop more.
Okay.
Um, man,
I, look,
the fact that has a Laker fan this irate for a Celtic.
I mean, look, I think, and I'm gonna. I feel like I've had this conversation on here before. If not, I probably did some recording about it. But if we're going to sit here and name the award most valuable player, then we gotta start leaning into the value part. Because if you give it to SGA, you're almost doing the most outstanding player because everybody looks at SGA as the best player in the league. I get it. My thing is, the award is a year to year thing. So if we look at Oklahoma City, they came into the year as the favorites. They are currently the favorites to win a title. And that's with SGA missing games recently. So if he missed games and they're still up there, how's he valuable this season? Now, that's obviously not me saying that if you took SGA off that team for 82 games, they'd be the same team. No, I'm not saying that. SGA is obviously valuable to their success. But looking at this season, like Wemby, I have zero problem with Wemby being up there. San Antonio has made a leap this year. It is absolutely because of Wemby's ascension as an NBA star. Zero problems with that. That to me shows Wemby's value. Luca, I feel like this recent run has propelled Luca. I'm not even mad at that because they played better. You look at the performances that Luca's put up recently. I get it. Yes, and this is what it is. Absolutely. But if that's the case, you gotta change the name of the award then. Because I feel like I go through this every year, whether it's the NFL or NBA, making the value argument. Jokic, I have zero problems with him because we've seen Denver play when Jokic isn't on the court and it looks completely different. Value. So you talked about him. I haven't right there. Put respect on Jalen Brown's name. The Celtics went into the season being looked at as a play-in team. Everybody said this was a tank year, a gap year, all of that. Jalen Brown told y'all in the offseason, we're not doing that. And all he did was go out there, career highs in points, I think field goal percentage, assists. He did everything he could to keep this team up there. And it almost seems like the minute Tatum came back, Vegas dropped him in their odds for some reason, which I think is
Horseshit.
ridiculous. Yes, I think it's ridiculous that it almost seems like that's what's going on. Um, hold on. I just saw this one. Always been a fan of Jalen Brown. In my opinion, he's better than Tatum. I see that conversation on TikTok like every other day. I leave the same comment under every video. It's a league of duos. Why do we need to decide who's better? They, as a duo, are one of the best, if not the best, in the league. But I understand it. Jalen Brown is a dog. Tatum could never. I don't know. A
Let
guy.
me pull up Jalen Brown's numbers this year.
Yeah. But even with this comment, it's like Tatum literally spent 300 days rehabbing an Achilles to fight to come back this season to help the team. That's got to be some type of dog in you. I also think the disrespect towards Tatum is wildly overblown as well, and maybe that's and I know Jalen Brown also because he's one of those who's willing to kind of speak for himself and stand up to nonsense. That's probably rubbed some people the wrong way. I honestly don't care. I love that about Jalen Brown to the point that I watch this man on TikTok and he kind of takes those conversations there. The other night, he did a whole film breakdown on Lou Dort and kind of how he guards him and all this kind of stuff. I found it interesting, but uh, I'll let you go ahead with the Jalen Brown numbers.
28, 28.6 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 5.2 assists per game. He's shooting 80% from the free throw line, 34.2% from three, 47.7% on the field goal, while playing 35 minutes a game.
And is a two-way player.
And yes, and is defending the best player.
He has. I mean, he did it in the finals against Luka. He told Missoula, "I'm guarding him," and he was Luka's worst nightmare. I get it. You know, Celtics have a lot of on-ball defenders, but Jalen Brown in clutch situations, you will always see him on the best player. He loves that challenge. Also, Brunson being after him, I don't need to justify that one.
I'm not respecting
like that's crazy too, but it is what it is.
That's a sympathy thing. I'm not respecting that bullshit with Jalen Brunson. The Knicks are primed for a first round exit. They cannot close games.
Yeah. Depends who they play, but I definitely agree with you.
Front runners. What more does Jalen Brown have to do?
That's maybe like Jalen because of the finals matchup against Luka. You also have to remember that finals matchup. Jason Tatum got into his playmaking bag because his jump shot wasn't falling, with all the scrutiny that he faced publicly as well. But yes, I do think Jalen Brown, what he did against Luka, gave some appreciation to him that a lot of people weren't really paying attention to him. Because remember, before that, all people talked about with Jalen Brown was he had no left hand. Even though, go pull up highlights, he dunks on people with his left hand. He's crossed up people with his left hand, but he did have a turnover problem, so that just turned into he has the left hand. Then he pulled the Luka thing, and yes, I think he gained some more, more notoriety for that. Also, look, obviously you guys know I'm a Celtics fan, but I was also the one who was like, to me, Cade Cunningham was the MVP before the collapsed lung stuff. I had Jalen Brown second.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, like Wemby being second, I'm not going to sit here and disregard what Wemby's doing in San Antonio. But I just didn't understand the whole, as soon as SGA stepped back on the court, he was automatically thrown in as the MVP favorite. Like if the Thunder slipped in the standings when he was gone, I'm there with you. But they didn't. They stayed right there. I don't know. As Taba said, popularity contest. Everybody's loving SGA right now, well, except for
me.
Large fan bases, don't like the foul baiting and all that. But I also say that could be easily kind of shut down with the refs not giving them those calls.
Every time I see a ref fall for that crap, I want to bust him upside his head because I'm like, why are you falling for that stupid ass acting job? He's throwing his body on purpose. Stop rewarding that. And it started with LeBron.
Technically,
Actually, it started with
LeBron took it
Chris
to another
Bosh.
level, but Vlade Divac was a huge flopper. And that was like the 90s, I think.
I
But he
wasn't
wasn't,
alive for that.
but I'm just saying, like, he wasn't like a household name like LeBron or SGA.
Even in the early 2000s, they didn't flop that much. It didn't start becoming a big issue until 2010 when him and Chris Bosh decided they just wanted to have flopathon down in Miami, just flopping like fish out of water. I know you remember some of them horrible ones. You can pull it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where the one where Chris Bosh just absolute and it wasn't nobody touching him.
But the
You know
refs,
which one I'm talking about, right?
yes. Yeah. Michael and Kobe didn't have to flop.
And that's why I love them.
I mean, hey, people know where I stand on the whole GOAT thing, where Jordan is the GOAT to me. But I understand this generation, they've become attached to LeBron. That's who they have.
And now I'm like,
Also, the funny
no,
thing is, oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I saw a funny video. Well, not funny, but video the other day where they kind of contrasted Jordan and LeBron over the GOAT debate, and Jordan was like, "I don't get into it because I can't necessarily call myself the GOAT because the eras before me and all this kind of stuff." And they cut to LeBron when they had the comeback against the Warriors, and he had that interview, and he was like, "That's when I knew I was the greatest of all time." And it was just like, yeah, that's why people can't stand you, LeBron. Okay, there it is. And look, LeBron's a great player. I've said this whole time. LeBron's like the second best player I've seen. Somehow that turned into disrespect. I mean, sure, you gotta cherish these years of the GOAT wearing your uniform.
Get him the hell out of it. Get him out. Like, oh my god.
Need to keep SGA
But
from winning 3 more titles. Next thing you know, he's in the GOAT conversation. Well, I think
he started all the crying. There is no Luka being a crybaby if there's no LeBron being a crybaby to the ref.
it's a fair point. Yeah.
He started the flopping.
Mm-hmm.
He started this whole super team thing.
Some of his are just legendary.
Who,
The
Braun?
one, yes,
Yeah.
the ones where it's like the guy's hand brushes air against his face, and he acts like he gets shot from the third row, and it's like,
Do I need to remind you of the theatrics versus the Celtics?
mm-hmm.
Where he rolled on the floor like he was a chihuahua and did all that extra hubbly bubbly bull crap. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you are a Laker. Get your black ass up.
Yes.
Get up.
That's when I see these questions like greatest Laker of all time, and they throw LeBron in there.
I want to slap the crap out of him.
That's
I want to
so
slap the crap out of him.
disrespectful to Magic, Kareem, Kobe. You got Jerry West, who's the logo. You got Elgin Baylor, and they throw LeBron in there. Crazy.
Get these bronze sexuals out my fan base. Get them out.
But like I said, they are standing 10 toes down for their guy. I get it. It's just the wild
way I'm
part
talking
is
about.
how, but it's like the wild part is for them, like longevity has turned into that makes you the GOAT, which I'm like, no, it just means he takes better care of his body, which I'd expect him to over guys who played in like the 60s and the 70s. Those guys would go out, drink the night before, 2 hours before the game, smoke a pack of cigarettes, and then go out there and play. Yeah, surely
Some of
not
those
in the
guys
best
from the
shape.
60s and 70s are dead.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
what does that tell you?
And those guys working like a 9 to 5 and then being an NBA player at night. Real Lakers fans don't acknowledge LeBron. It's his fans.
And I'm
LeBron
like,
isn't even a better Laker than Pau Gasol. As a Celtics fan, I'm going to do this. Pau Gasol kind of was disrespected as a Laker.
not by this Laker fan.
Well, yes, yeah. I feel like the Laker fans who really love Kobe, they give Pau Gasol tons of credit
Hmm.
because those two were obviously really close. But yeah,
And the more I think about it,
mm-hmm.
because then I make the connection of everything that's wrong with basketball today.
Okay.
We say there's a lack of defense. No, it's because it's hard to officiate when people are doing full out Broadway auditions instead of actually playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of still as physical, but paint production isn't as prioritized as much unless you're the Spurs or the Celtics because the Celtics got a psychopath as the coach. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not prioritized as much. People just want to shoot. I blame Steph Curry for that. But and then
Well,
all the
Steph
crying to the
Curry is
refs
also
and
like 100 pounds soaking wet. He was never going to last
no,
in this league
I
without a
know,
jump shot.
I know. So that being understood,
Yeah,
yeah. But most of the problems in the NBA started with LeBron. Hell, his ass ruined the league.
because you did say a little earlier the super team thing, even though oddly enough, he's kind of skated by that one because a lot of people pin that on Durant, which we will talk
Durant is
about
just more
Durant.
recent.
Like we'll talk about Durant later on, but yeah, a lot of people pin that on Durant going to Golden State, the whole super team thing. No, actually, I'm wrong about that. They pinned the super team thing on Garnett and Ray Allen when they joined the Celtics, even though they were like in their 30s at that point. That was a little different to me. When you had Bosch, Wade, and LeBron, they were all well,
In their prime.
when they're in their late 20s, I believe.
Hmm.
So that's a little different, but you know, he did what he did to win. I'm not gonna necessarily get on you for that.
I just, I'm ready for him to go.
Well, if that report or whatever, where they're saying LeBron's gonna do at least another year or two, sure. If Ray Allen or Reggie Miller played in this era, Curry would have never surpassed them in 3 pointers made. I can agree with that. People forget Ray Allen early in his career was a slasher and finish at the rim kind of guy. It was as he got uh, older, he kind of drifted more to the perimeter.
Yeah, because when I remember Ray Allen, he was a sniper. So
Mm-hmm.
corner threes, bam.
Yeah,
Momentum
but
change threes, bam.
UConn and Bucks Ray Allen was break you down off the dribble and finish at the rim with some threes thrown in. Okay. I guess that's the MVP race. Coach of the year. I looked at Vegas once again. The favorite for coach of the year, JB Bickerstaff of the Pistons. Missoula second. Mitch Johnson, the Spurs coach, is third. Charles Lee from the Hornets is fourth. Jordan Ott from the Suns. To be honest with you, I didn't even know that was his name, but Jordan Ott from the Suns is fifth. Quinn Snyder of the Hawks, sixth. What are your thoughts on that?
Fuck is JJ? Excuse my language. Where is JJ?
Um, I feel like the perception with JJ is probably why he's not on there. I think like the early season struggles was really pinned on JJ. Maybe that's what's hurting.
No, because LeBron had a sciatica and we were playing well. And then he came back and threw the chemistry off, and then Reeves got hurt. Now they know how to play together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how they're shaking it out now. Like I said, Bickerstaff I get, Missoula I get, Mitch Johnson I get, Charles Lee. That's clearly because the Hornets
A
finally
half a
figured it
season.
out. I get that. I mean, Quinn Snyder, that's probably recency because there's a lot of the season that we were
That's
talking
a
about. Quinn
hundred
Snyder
percent
could lose
recency
his
bias
job.
because the Hawks weren't doing none of that crap before Kaminga got there. They were dead in the water. They looked like trash. Then Kaminga got there. All of a sudden, Quinn Snyder's coach of the year. Kiss my ass and kick rocks. JJ needs to be up there.
Like I said, I think the perception with JJ is that he was holding the team back or whatever. Because I agree, for this reason, we can't just look at on the court. JJ's had to manage LeBron and
And
everything that comes
Aiton's
with that,
soft ass talking.
and Rich Paul. He's had to navigate all that noise around him, and they're third in the West.
How is that not coach of the year resume? What the hell?
I'm assuming they're giving that credit somewhere else. I don't know.
Who did they think they did it?
Look, I agree with you. I would
All of
have.
the MVP finalists, most of the MVP candidates they have on there, their coach of the year, their coach is also coach of the year finalist.
Mm-hmm.
Luka,
What's up, Sergeant?
Luka is a willing defender. Do
Uh-huh.
you think he just woke up and did that overnight? Hell no.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, you turn on the Lakers game, you see JJ on the sidelines. He's coaching. You would think the brand of the Lakers, them being third in the West, that would be good enough to have them in at least the top 5 according to Vegas. Apparently not. Like I said, Bickerstaff, completely understand with Detroit, get it. Missoula, I'm definitely on board with that. Mitch Johnson, I think part of it is he's following Pop's footsteps and they're having that success. Fine. Charles Lee, I think he's done a great job in Charlotte. Fine. So Ott with the Suns, hi Bella. Like the Suns are overachieving. They're also a playing team. I don't know if that's top 5 worthy, but I can understand. Yeah, most people thought the Suns were going to be horrible this year. They're at least pushing for a top 6 seed. Give them credit for that. But like I said, Quinn Snyder was a guy some people thought could have lost his job, mainly because of Trae Young. But they moved off of Trae Young, and now he's top 6 in Coach of the Year. I'd like to think. I only looked at their top 6. I would assume JJ would probably be the 7th guy. If they named more than that, I don't know. I could probably let me see. I could probably find it again. Because I don't know where else you would go after those 6 before you got to JJ anyway. He was in the chat earlier. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Supposed to be where are you? Oh, no, they only listed that. Their list doesn't go any further than that. Okay. But it seems like the overwhelming favorites are Bickerstaff and Missoula. There was a bit of a drop off to Mitch Johnson, then a drop off to Charles Lee, and then a slight drop off to Ott and Snyder. Hmm. All right. Let's keep going here. All right, let's get into some of the drama in the NBA.
Boy,
Giannis and the Bucks. Love this story. Not like we've heard about these two before. Now the new development. The Bucks want to shut down Giannis. Most times teams do that. We never hear from the player. Not this time. Giannis goes, "Nah, I think I'm gonna play." The Bucks are like, "No, we want to shut you down." Giannis is like, "Nah, I can play." That's where we are. I think clearly the Bucks want to shut Giannis down because they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the play-in. They're like 9 games out of the play-in. There's only like 10, 11 games left. That ship sailed weeks ago. Giannis has been dealing with lower body injuries. This last season was kind of the year of Achilles and all that kind of stuff. And the last thing the Bucks would want to see, Giannis playing meaningless games just to get hurt. What I respect about Giannis, and I always say this, Giannis is a competitor. He wants to play 82 games a year. With his physical style, that's how he's wired. But you look at this situation, Giannis and the Bucks could be a soap opera. Where do you stand on all this?
the Bucks are trying to keep Giannis healthy so eventually they can trade him.
I mean, that's, yeah.
So let the player play, but at the same time, you ain't gotta play him 5 minutes. Then, if y'all gonna fight about this, fight passively.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play? Okay, you can play 5 minutes. That's all you get.
But we also know Giannis, the competitor, isn't going to waste his time warming up, putting on a jersey to play 5-10 minutes a game.
Well, then don't play.
That's Giannis, the competitor, can't handle that.
Well, take what I give you.
Let's see. Do you have an MLB team?
I'm a Braves fan.
And I'm a Red Sox fan. Yes, we have baseball teams. Actually, next week we'll actually probably talk some baseball on here.
I'm learning.
Yes. I think the other part of this that's kind of interesting, because people are like, the Bucks looking to tank, holding out Giannis. That's all well and good. The Bucks draft pick situation, though, is a little clouded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have their own first round pick, but they don't have any control over it because of previous deals. The Hawks and the Pelicans factor in to the Bucks draft positioning. So the Hawks basically get the best positioning out of the 3 teams. So the worse the record the Bucks are, if they fall below the Pelicans or whatever, the Hawks just take that pick anyway and they end up dropping. I think if it comes down to just the Pelicans and the Bucks, the Pelicans get priority. So of the 3 teams where they finish, the Bucks get the worst pick. So I guess for them, if they lose and get close enough to where the Pelicans are, they don't drop that far or whatever. But I don't think the Bucks, once again, we talked about this past couple of weeks, Bucks aren't tanking. They were a very flawed roster that lost their best player for a large stretch of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's not tanking to me. That's just a bad season. With a coach that obviously probably on the hot seat or whatever, but yeah. Between Giannis and John Morant, never-ending cycle of trade rumors. Well, we saw at the trade deadline. Apparently, nobody wanted John Morant. I
And he
see
was
Giannis
upset about
Salon
that.
calling me crazy. You are not crazy. The only thing is, Giannis will never probably openly just come out and be like, I want out. I don't know if he's that type of person. Would he be okay with a trade? I feel like he would be okay anywhere because of the competitor that he is.
But if I'm the Bucks front office, I have to feel like boo boo the fool to sign a guy's brothers once off season, then trade the guy the next.
I think the Bucks front office would love to keep Giannis. That's kind of the reason why I feel like he ends up staying. The only question is, what do they do with the coach? They had Adrian Griffin, who was actually good with the team, booted him out to bring in Doc, and Doc once again not living up to expectations. So if you move off of Doc, is the next coach going to be somebody that Giannis wants?
No,
How's that going to play out?
no, hell no. Don't let him pick another coach because he got one fired. And
Yes.
he's gonna work on getting another one fired. So in a
Yeah.
minute, he's gonna be the problem. Do we really want the coach killer mantra? Because LeBron is one of those. How many coaches it happened? He got 3 fired in LA.
I also think Giannis is the type that he's not going to care if you call him a coach killer. I think it depends on the player if that stuff really bothers you. I don't think Giannis cares. I think Giannis has a lot of Jokic in him. Like, Jokic could care less what you say about him. The man, once the season ends, he doesn't care about parades, nothing like that. The man cares about his horses. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He looks disinterested most of the time at parades and all that. It's probably the reason why All-Star game, he doesn't care. He'd
Unless
rather
it's
spend that
DeMarcus
time
Cousins
with
asking him
his
a question.
horses.
Unless it's DeMarcus Cousins asking him a question.
Well, yeah, he's down for a good fight. I mean, that whole
No,
Lou Dort thing, that man looked like he was about to snap and kill somebody.
I loved it. I'm like, oh, I ain't
I'd
seen
never
this one
seen
before.
I'd never seen Jokic get that worked up. I mean, yes, the Morris twins thing was one thing. He had this like Joker-like look. I'm talking about Batman Joker. Like, I will end you right now in front of all these cameras. I don't care. I was like, this man's different. I saw it. I enjoyed it as well. I was like, hey, Lou Dort's got away with some stuff. He picked the wrong one. And Jokic let him know about it.
I was like, because at All-Star weekend, DeMarcus Cousins asked Jokic a question. His whole face just lit up.
Mm-hmm. Jokic is an interesting guy. Mind blowing that Denver and Milwaukee fired the head coach that got him a championship recently. I mean, the Malone thing with Denver was probably more surprising than Budenholzer. I've never been a Budenholzer guy, but I get what you're saying, Topper. Mike Malone was definitely a surprise. I'm also kind of surprised he didn't get picked up anywhere and he's working on TV right now.
I think he's fine with that. You know why the Bucks are going through what they did? Because they also screwed Mike Budenholzer because Mike Budenholzer also just lost his brother.
Yeah.
This is karma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, look, the whole media market aspect of it as well. A lot of these smaller markets feel like they have to do everything their star wants to keep them happy. Very few occasions you see it the other way. I mean, look, Gilbert in Cleveland. did every backflip he could for LeBron. The Bucks are going to do the same for Giannis. We've seen, I don't know, because obviously the media pressure is moving stars to big markets because that's what the league needs. I disagree, but it is what it is.
He
This
did
is
it. For,
why I
LeBron
wonder.
did it for Cleveland twice.
And there are some people who think he could do it a third time. Go there and then I guess retire there, whatever. But I'm kind of interested to see, like, once Vegas joins the conversation, does Vegas become one of those spots that the media tries to push stars to? Probably, but we will see. Um, okay. So look, the Giannis drama is one thing. Let's look at. Let's go to Golden State. Golden State was a team a couple of years ago, riding the high of a dynasty, winning titles and everything. Now the current day, they're a below 500 play-in team with their star player hurt. Steph Curry's supposed to come back in about probably the next week or so, but
What's the
this is not
point?
the Warriors team of previous seasons. Where did it all go wrong?
Steve Kerr's inability to properly develop young players.
No,
Don't
top I was
remind
saying
me.
LeBron, Cleveland, because Cleveland, small market city. Yes, LA is absolutely a large market,
And
but
don't remind me
I do see what you're
what
saying, that he stripped half the roster.
don't remind me of that.
That was also, well, that was desperation
Do
to
not
get back
remind me
to
of
the
that.
glory days.
Um, what was you talking about again?
No, sorry. You said Steve Kerr, lack of ability in developing young players is where Golden State went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair point.
And y'all should have had Splash Brother Jr. already being developed once Clay started having those injuries.
hmm I'm assuming you're talking about Jordan Poole. That's who Top is talking about.
Yeah, and then you let Draymond go run amok and ruin a whole bunch of shit.
hmm
Excuse me. He
Yeah.
ruined the Kevin Durant experience. He ruined the Jordan Poole thing. He ruined a whole bunch.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. Um, the Warriors obviously fell in love with this group that grew together and won titles together. With every dynastic run, at a certain point, you have to worry about, okay, what do we look like after? I think that's where Golden State has failed in this experiment. They are going to get every ounce they can get out of Steph Curry. They ran Klay Thompson as far as they could and then shipped him off. And Draymond, they flirted with moving off of him, but they're clearly going to get as much as they can out of Draymond Green, even though out of the three, obviously, he was probably the lesser player. And as he gets older, you kind of worry, like, how much eroding of his game does Draymond experience? And at that point, what is his actual value to the Warriors? But you mentioned young players. The Wiseman pick blew up in their face, and the way that Wiseman's career has gone, I can't necessarily blame the Warriors solely for that. Clearly, a lot of that's on Wiseman, always being hurt, and just his mentality on the court. I mean, I had questions about him coming out of Memphis. He played 1 year. He didn't really dominate, but they needed a big. He was a big. They took him. Jordan Poole, for all the antics, he was a bucket off the bench, but I guess it got to a point where he kind of wanted to be a starter. And that's where him and Draymond butted heads. We know Draymond is a big personality. Moses Moody, who just suffered a horrific knee injury, we now have the question, what is he going to look like when he gets back? Kuminga, who you mentioned before, might have been the biggest wild card out of the group, but for whatever reason, he couldn't get on the court, and it got to the point where he was mentally done with Golden State, even though they kept him. And I feel like, I guess you could put that on Steve Kerr, but those moves right there, now it's like, unless you can get another year or two out of Steph, who's now in his mid-30s, even though, had concerns about his ankles early on in his career, you never know if that might flare up again. You invested a lot in the Butler, mid-30s, now injured.
Mm-hmm.
You got Draymond, mid-30s, not exactly the most talented guy to begin with.
Unhinged.
Yes. Which, for his lack of talent, he kind of has to be unhinged to kind of fill in the gaps. If he were a nice guy, he probably would have been out of the league, because I don't think he could have been the player that he is as a nice guy. And you kind of look to the future, and it's like, what is the future?
They have none.
But I'm at the point, I honestly think the minute Steph Curry goes, I'm retiring, I think that's the last we see of Steve Kerr coaching in Golden State.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if he does the whole move upstairs thing or whatever, but clearly his coaching is tied to Steph Curry. That's, from the outside looking in, it seems like that's how Golden State has operated. As long as Steph Curry's here, Kerr's going to be there. As long as Steph Curry's there, they feel like they have somewhat of a chance of competing. Well, you didn't factor in Butler getting hurt, Steph being hurt, and now you're down to Draymond and a bunch of unproven guys playing night in and night out. And some of those nights, it is ugly. Like, it is rough some nights. I guess you can say the only future asset they kind of have is Podziemski. But he's I think on a contending team, he's probably a bench point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Moody, I like. He's all right. But, he's not a starter. The only value they have is Curry. Yes. And part of that, look, Clay went through probably two off seasons that you just felt so bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Man blows out a knee, rehabs it, rips his Achilles apart. You just felt bad for him. And now he's kind of playing a little bit better with Dallas, but he was never the same after that.
That man don't give a damn.
And yes, he has. He doesn't, and he's won titles. What does he have to care for anymore?
He got him 5 rings.
Yeah,
5 rings. Yeah. Megan Thee Stallion, he's fine. That man is fine.
Playing in Dallas, Texas, where he can just go out and ball.
Clay is fine. It's the fact that they've never really thought about the future, or they failed at doing that. And Steve Kerr, why would they wait until after everybody's gone to then start on the planet for the future when they can already have this type of thing already in motion or being developed?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but they're setting themselves up as soon as Curry retires, there's going to be some dark days in Golden State.
Yes. But Warriors fans, have gone through dark periods because uh, it was like your Tim Hardaway, the Run TMC Warriors, which yes, I know it was before you. That was like 80s. 90s Warriors basketball was not fun. Then you got like the Baron Davis Warriors, the We Believe Warriors, which were like they walked so the Light the Beam Kings could run a couple of years ago. Then after that, there's a mini dark period, and then you got Steph Curry, and now that's kind of where they are. At this point, he's being a mentor to Cooper Flag, which is good. Yeah, yeah, he's in a situation that's fine for him. Um, but yeah, like I actually wrote down all the injuries. Butler's out for the season. Moody's out for the season. Quentin Post is out. He's supposed to be back, I guess, this weekend. Seth Curry, who I think they added at the deadline. I don't even know if he's actually played for them yet. He's out. DeAnthony Melton out. Al Horford out. Steph out. I mean, that's yeah. The fact that they're hovering around 500, kudos to them. Also speaks to probably the bottom of the West. This would probably been a good year to kind of snipe Golden State and keep them out of at least the play-in, but the teams behind them are in worse situations.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess when they hit those dark days, we will see how long that dark period is. I wonder who takes the coaching mantle after Steve Kerr.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm. I think if you're a Warriors fan, you'll take the championships that Curry's group gave you. If it leads to like 5 years in the dark ages, I think you'll be okay. Now, if it gets to like 10, 15 years, then yeah, you might have a problem with it. But as long as it's not prolonged, they'll be okay. I guess transitioning off of yes, Steve Kerr did inherit the team, which this comes up all the time as well. I know there's this groundswell for Mark Jackson. I get it. Look, I don't know if Kerr never takes over. Do they have the same future with Mark Jackson? I don't know. We'll never know. But you do have to give Jackson credit for at least the beginning phase of Curry, Thompson, and Green. Now, maybe Kerr unlocked something that took him to another level. Like I said, we'll never know. Who's taking it all? Okay, so I'm guessing Saijan's asking for an NBA champion pick.
We'll get into that next week.
Yeah. I do think that, I guess a teaser, I don't know. There are multiple teams that I could see winning it all this year. Like Jory said, we'll get into that later. Well, yeah, because the playoffs start in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then you will get our predictions for all of that. So I guess transitioning off of Golden State, former member of Golden State, Kevin Durant. This is a conversation that Jory and I absolutely wanted to have on here. Because if you kind of chart KD's career, it's kind of fascinating. The players that he's been with, how many stops he's been for a guy that can you guys do a live stream? Live stream of what? I mean, are you talking like a watch along live stream? So I guess be more specific, live stream. He's played with a bunch of guys, been to a bunch of cities. Some of them have failed like historically. And this is a guy who, what was it, 2 days ago, passed Michael Jordan on this all-time scoring list. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if he'll be remembered for that. He'll be remembered for a lot of the burner accounts and all that kind of stuff. But I guess to kind of focus the conversation around KD, his leadership ability and everything like that. Okay, so Thomas says Brooklyn was the biggest disappointment. For a guy like KD, if Brooklyn was the only disappointment, you'd be like, okay, he had a bit of a misstep
Mm-mm.
there. He's had multiple disappointments, and I think that's the fascinating thing with KD. So I guess when you look at KD as a leader and why he's bounced around so much, like how do you answer that? Where has it gone wrong for KD over these stops in his career? The previous topic. Oh, our NBA. Yeah, we're gonna do that on the show. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, we got you.
Um, because if you look at each stop,
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City, what happened?
Part of a young group. The questions raised. That was the part that annoyed me the most. All the questions came up about Russ, and Russ wasn't good enough. Russ was holding
Mm-hmm.
KD back, and KD made that decision
Mm-hmm.
to leave. But even then, goes to Golden State. Okay, greener pastures, I guess. What happened there?
Draymond.
Yep. Well,
Draymond hurt his feelings.
yes. But remember, there was like
That's a
that
recurring
passing
theme
tweet,
here.
like there was a passing tweet or something where it said like KD feels like he'll never be part of the Warriors family or something like that. And I think based on the kind of guy that he's kind of turned into, I kind of believe that's something he probably thought about.
That's going to be a theme here. Um, Brooklyn, that was a mess from the start.
Now, how much of the Brooklyn situation do you put on KD?
Not a lot. I put more blame on that on Kyrie.
I agree. That's where I'm at with him too. Harden gets blamed too, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I feel like Harden's frustration was with Kyrie being a part-time player.
Mm-hmm. Phoenix. We all know he had problems with Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phoenix. He's supposed to form this super duo with Devin Booker. They got
And
a
then
good
you
what
add
2
Bradley
years
Beal
out of that.
to it. And um
During COVID, where Kyrie wouldn't play. Yes.
mm-hmm. He got in his feelings. He wanted out.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in Houston. You had this whole burner thing come out, and then after All-Star game, the whole it don't look right. At what point are we going to realize that Kevin Durant is the problem? His insecure ass is the problem. He's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's him. Now, Golden State and Brooklyn are the only two where he can get a pass.
Mm-hmm.
But Phoenix, Oklahoma City, how this is turning out now,
Mm-hmm.
it's him. He's the problem. And yes, we can point to basketball issues as well with these teams as well. But
Yep.
it's time to look past that and to be a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
He's a terrible locker room mate at this point. He's
Which he's always
terrible.
going to
He's
be
one of
a
those
guy.
quiet, sneaky, insecure people who ain't gonna say shit to your face, but is
Mhm.
definitely gonna talk a whole bunch of it behind your back and to people that he knows.
Yep. But I mean, yeah, a guy who's insecure like that, who pays attention to everything people say about him, would you want that guy to be a locker room leader? Like, I couldn't imagine his leadership style. I mean, we kind of see it, criticism of him, burner account comes in to defend him, the burner account ripping teammates, obviously. But and I think KD kind of told us he wasn't a leader. Oklahoma City, would you say he was a leader on that team? I feel like Russ was the leading personality there. We know he wasn't the leader in Golden State because that's Curry and Draymond. Brooklyn was where he could have been a leader, and that was an absolute disaster. And the moment he had where he was given that opportunity, when Kyrie had the whole thing with like the book and the COVID stuff, and KD
Hmm.
was like, "I just want to ball and go home" and stuff like that. It was like, okay, you clearly aren't built for that mantle of bringing guys together, getting them to put their differences aside to win a title, because that's what's going on in Houston. Houston looks like a team that is completely imploding every time you see them play. And they're going to be a team that will face somebody in the first round, maybe your Lakers. It'll probably end in like 5 games, and you will probably hear about some report, shouting matches in the locker room after the game and stuff like that. Like, that's where Houston seems like they're headed. To be honest, Katie and LeBron just need to retire. Well,
I agree.
yes. And the league will be fine without them. I get
I
tired of
think
that
it's just
question all
time.
the time too.
I think it's just time that we started looking. People started stop looking at this as a purely just basketball scope
Mm-hmm.
and just think about the bigger picture. It's right there. He's a problem. Once he starts getting his feelings, he ends up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I didn't see it either, Tapa. I didn't get the whole Houston as a title favorite. You have no point guard. What are we doing here?
they had one, they lost him.
Yes. But it was also like looking at this Houston team. If KD were a leader, this is the kind of group that needed his leadership, which is why you see so much dysfunction on the court at times when they're in the half court. That game against Minnesota, when I don't know how you get outscored 15-0 in an overtime. That's wild to me. So many possessions. They had poor Sengun up top dribbling his heart out to try to beat a man off the dribble. And I was just like, why are we doing this to a center, making him try to break down a defense from the top when you have Kevin Durant on the floor? Like, post Durant up, let him work. He's taller than everybody who guards him. He could have done that. No. You have Amin Thompson, who, look, love him as a player, can't shoot for his life.
Mm-mm.
That man pulled up for a little DeAndre Ayton special floater in the lane and missed everything. And I was like, that is a broken man right there. You have Jabari Smith, who hasn't seen a three he hasn't liked. He won't make it, but he'll take the shot. You have, Tari Eason and all these other guys that if they had somebody who could actually direct them and get them in the right positions, I think they have the makings of a winning type team. It's just that they're being led by a guy who doesn't want to lead them. For all we know, KD mentally has checked out and is already thinking about his next stop.
Yeah, because once we know that he thinks Jabari Smith is slow,
Mm-hmm.
and that same goon can't do a whole bunch of stuff, you already know you want out.
Yep.
But that's his problem.
Mm-hmm.
He has to understand basketball is a team sport.
But he understood that Golden State, he's having all kinds of fun in Golden State. But, Draymond tapped into his insecurity. I think outside noise as well, because we know Durant listens to everything. That
Mm-hmm.
cupcake talk clearly wore on him. He knew he would never get away from that as long as he stayed in Golden State. Which is why I think it's odd. Well, not odd, but I think it's coincidental. He picked Brooklyn of all places and brought in James Harden with him, a guy who hadn't won anything at all. If Brooklyn had figured it out and won a title, they would have given Durant so much credit for, giving Harden his title and with Kyrie, who was a guy who's also seen as not necessarily leadership quality because he played under uh, LeBron in Cleveland. He left there because he got tired of it. He had his opportunity in Boston to be a leader, and he fumbled that laughably.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's. I mean, Kyrie has some of his own issues like KD, but Kyrie is, I guess, more likable.
No,
You said no?
not to me because once I found out you was a flat earther, I'm like, oh yeah, you stupid. You a special type of stupid. You one of them people that think that they smarter than everybody else, and they not.
No, I definitely get that, but at least Kyrie doesn't have the burner thing. The burner thing is what a lot of people just can't connect with KD when it comes to that. I'm one of those. It's like I would love to sit there and make the kind of money that KD has and need burner accounts to defend myself online against people who don't play in the league or anything like that. I wouldn't waste my time. But KD, he got time for it.
He also doesn't shower. He's musty, and he doesn't like brushing his hair.
Well, I mean that part. I
And
still
he's
understand.
assy.
I still understand how you just give out that information with a straight face and act like it's a normal thing. Now the lotioning thing, he did get a lotion deal out of it. Maybe he's a
I bet he
marketing
don't even
genius.
use that damn lotion.
Well, they got him using it in the commercial. We're all supposed to believe he uses it now.
I know. No. Because he
Well, if
still
I'm a
walking around with his
representative
head looking
at
like,
that company, I call him before every game and I say, I see an ounce of ash on your skin. We taking that money away from you. No deal, nothing. We'll pull in the commercial. We'll get somebody else to do it.
I bet he's still not even going to use it.
I mean, hey, well then, fake it while you can. Came to Phoenix, stripped half the roster. Oh yeah, the Bradley Beal. I forget about Bradley Beal in Phoenix. Yeah, that was definitely on KD too. Ugh, yikes.
Hmm.
God,
He wanted Bradley Beal.
yeah.
Devin Booker didn't want back Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the problem. Why do you let him take over a team and he's not a leader?
Situations. Like, look at the places he's gone. Phoenix, desperate to win a title. Brooklyn, battling the Knicks for attention, desperate to win a title. Houston, desperate to win a title. It's been, let's see what the Rockets won back to back in 94, 95. It's been that long.
So the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, 94, 95. Yeah, because Jordan's three-peat ended in 93. Then the second one started in 96. Tapa, I've said this before too, and I've got a lot of pushback. They are actually pretty similar.
They are.
LeBron doesn't do LeBron doesn't do the burner thing, but LeBron controls the media with his. I mean, you've said it before, like his passive aggressive style. LeBron does a lot of his stuff behind the scenes, and he
Mm-hmm.
has Rich Paul as a mouthpiece. Maybe that's what Durant needs, and then Durant would.
No.
I was just saying, then Durant wouldn't do the burner
Kevin
thing because
Durant needs a
he'd have something to do with
therapist.
Goro.
He
LeBron
needs a
also. Yeah.
therapist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he needs, a therapist. LeBron needs to go away and retire,
Mm-hmm.
and Kevin Durant needs a therapist.
Yeah, he definitely has to work out that the insecurity, the bunny ears thing. Like, why does he care so much how people view him?
And why is he making that his teammates' responsibility? He needs to understand that your insecurities are not other people's responsibilities. That is a you thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, KD is like KD's gonna be one of those interesting players, especially like once he retires, he goes into the Hall of Fame and all that. I wonder 10, 15 years from now how conversations around KD kind of go amongst like social media and NBA talk. Because he's a great player, not a leader, as we documented, and seems like a guy who probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But not every
Conservative.
yeah. KD and LeBron team killers. No, LeBron makes everybody better, even though the argument is who, but he makes everybody better.
He didn't make nobody better. Kyrie was ready to get away from him.
Mm-hmm. He
And
made
that says something.
he turned Bosch, who was an all NBA type player in Toronto, into a corner three guy. Kevin Love was a 2015 guy in Minnesota, turned into a 3-point guy. He got Cleveland to draft Anthony Bennett, which I don't know what kind of drugs you were on to think Anthony Bennett was a number one pick, much less a draft pick at all. I saw that dude at UNLV. I didn't get it at all. They took him number one. Still baffles the mind. I'm pretty sure wasn't LeBron the one? Wait, yeah, LeBron was the one who I guess we'll say because then they draft Wiggins and then trade Wiggins for who they trade Wiggins for. I don't know. There's so much I can't keep up with. I mean, just looking at the Laker days, Ingram, Ball, the Reeves rumors that constantly are there. Who do you think's pushing that?
Mm-hmm.
Which I know if they ever did it, Jory would be the first one to just goes scorched earth on her team.
Snap.
Yes, I agree. Brandon Ingram probably should still be a Laker, even though Brandon Ingram can be frustrating as well. But yeah, let's see. Josh Hart was a Laker. I don't know if that was LeBron's doing, but
I'm fine with Hart not being a Laker. He's a dumbass.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Hart is like a shorter, less talented. I don't know, maybe not less talented, but he's like a shorter Draymond. Um, I'm talking about trading away talent. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, we knew what you meant because I never understood it. The one person who stepped to LeBron was Pat Riley, and look how Pat Riley is regarded around the league. It's crazy that LeBron wanted Spoelstra fired. Even though I think the shine on Spoelstra is kind of losing its luster from recent years, but it's kind of crazy to think who would LeBron have wanted to coach that Heat team over Spoelstra? That could have changed the course of history.
Mm-hmm. Good for Pat Riley.
Yes. Well, we knew Pat Riley was going to stand for that. Was it okay? So they traded everybody for AD. Westbrook was the free agency signing that I'm sure Jory could have told you was never going to work. Because
I
remember
knew that shit was doomed from the start.
but that was the offseason where it was like Buddy healed and then they like pivoted to Westbrook. And it was like, so you bring in a guy who, if they're on the court together, run in the same spaces on the floor, and that's supposed to work. And then poor Westbrook got blamed for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, AD was that huge trade that saw all those guys go out the door. And look, AD gave them a ring. I can't you can't say it was all for nothing. And I still say AD got robbed of Finals MVP.
He
I'm gonna keep
did.
saying, but we already knew the minute they won that title, they were gonna give it to LeBron. Let's see. Like I said, we might have to do this with some other players and kind of really, look at their career the way we just did with KD. I think it'd be interesting to do like a Harden. I
I
think
think that
Harden,
might be next week.
yeah, I think Harden's an interesting case as well. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. We'll do that with Harden next week. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get into final burn. I actually have one this week, but I'll let you. Oh, Topic brought another one. Carmelo would be a good one to do it with too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny that Carmelo's catching heat online for his comment about Jason Tatum and how to win, and so I was like, "Who are you to tell anybody how to win?"
You
I was
haven't
like,
won anything.
"Wow." All right, Carmelo, I'll write that down too. Okay. Appreciate the suggestion, Topper.
One
I
of
guess
my
any other
burns.
players probably drop him in Discord or something. But yeah, go ahead. Final burn.
One of my burns is Mr. Biter. Puka.
Mm.
Why are we putting our mouths on people? Are you a toddler? So far this off season, you've done the following. This you did an anti-Semitic gesture. You've
Mm-hmm.
been shit-faced drunk in public on camera, slurring your words and fumbling around in the middle of the street. You've said something. You've said something. A few crazy, questionable, stupid things that can be easily disproven.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're biting people. What is wrong with you?
Only he would know.
What?
Puka isn't he Samoan?
He is. And I know them Samoan parents don't play that. Because I know you got your ass whooped as a kid. So they know. So you should know biting is a no no.
I mean, he should just know that in general.
I know he got his butt whooped as a kid. What did BYU do to you?
He's definitely had an off season where he's come across as like a straight up meathead.
Like, what did BYU do to you? Because I'm like, it was the CTE comment and a bunch of stuff that he done said that just, I'm like, Puka, be quiet, bro. He's having an off season to forget.
He's somebody who needs the season to start like tomorrow. Just get back on the field.
Samoan people discipline their kids like black people. They whoop their ass. They get their tails tore up. 100%. That's why I was surprised about Juju acting like a damn idiot too. You know you grew up better than that. Anyway, Puka, I'm gonna get on Mr. Tiger Woods. You don't need to drive a nut. Don't drive a goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And stop all that. Stop drinking. Like what, or whatever it is that you were doing. What is going on with you? You can't drive, and then you flip your car around. You can't drive. It was a rollover accident.
With as brittle as his body is now, like he needs to be careful.
No, he don't need to be driving a car. Period.
That's
Suspend
what I'm
his
saying.
license.
That's what I'm saying. Like being careful. Like this man's got bad back and all this kind of stuff. Like you in a rollover accident. Like what are we doing? So either you have a drinking problem or you just are irresponsible with your drinking. Either way, yeah, get a driver. You got money, call an Uber. Imagine being an Uber driver and picking up Tiger Woods. I
I'm
guess being
like,
drunk probably wouldn't be that fun, but I never understood why people drink and drive. I don't get it either. Is it adrenaline rush or something?
you know what? I'd rather be in the car with Justin Timberlake.
I saw that video.
White.
That video was just
I'm like,
the,
yes, Justin, you're white. You wore cornrows once. You're white.
but it was just funny. Like the cop was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm Justin Timberlake." And the cop was like, "You're Justin Timberlake." He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's hard to explain." Like what? He's like, "I'm on a
Oh, you
tour."
was finna bust in the song. He should have just bust in the song.
Yeah, because he's just like, "I'm on tour," and the cop was like, "What?" "I'm on tour," and the cop was literally probably just like, "Just give me your license and let's keep this moving." But yeah, just as a celebrity, drinking and driving makes zero sense.
Do better.
Mm-hmm.
In my
Actually, I
last
can't say as a
29,
celebrity because even if you're not a celebrity, drinking and driving makes zero sense either.
right. My last one for the night is to the WNBA.
Okay.
You alienated the entire New England with that
Glad you
bullshit.
pointed this out.
They were gonna pay you more to buy the team, to keep the team, and move the team to Boston than what you sold the team for to move to Houston. So now the people who root for New England teams, they don't have nothing to root for. Just
Mhm.
alienated a whole ass fan base.
And the Yukon fan base.
Yes,
Yeah. I don't, like whatever the
that was a
plans were.
stupid move. That was a stupid move. If you wanted Boston to
Mhm.
get its own, if you wanted Boston's own WNBA team, you move the Suns and you move the Sun and you rename them.
Mhm.
Don't do that. You don't move the Sun to Houston and now
I mean, even
Boston
that
doesn't have a
part,
team.
I'm not necessarily even mad about that part. It's if you knew, because we've known this for years. Like the Sun, we're probably not going to stay at Mohegan Sun because that arena is a joke. They don't have a practice court. Like Alyssa Thomas talked about it all the time. There was times where they would practice and had to move out for like birthday parties and stuff. That's embarrassing as a league. They're playing in Uncasville, Connecticut. Most people couldn't tell you there was a city named Uncasville, let alone where it was. I'm from New England. I couldn't point out Uncasville on a map if you told me to. So you don't play in Hartford, Connecticut, which is the biggest city in Connecticut. You have Rhode Island right next door, Providence, big city. And you had Boston. You chose Uncasville. So if you wanted to move the Sun out of Connecticut, then Boston should have been part of the next wave of expansion, which they're not. So now Boston's got to wait. I think what was it like till 2030? No, 2030. I think is when Philly joined. So it's like expansion after that is probably the next chance Boston gets a team. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna leave the New England area with where the Yukon fan base is huge in the women's sports.
For 5 years.
That's crazy. I don't. I'm with you on that. I feel like that planning was horrible. Philly's gonna get their team 2030. They're
Mm-hmm.
the they're the expansion round after,
This one,
Toronto and Portland
Portland.
join next season. Well, this season, I'm sorry. And then a couple of years down the line, Philly joins with Cleveland and
Detroit.
yeah, which all perfectly good choices. Cities
At
that the
that point,
league,
just throw Boston in there with that lump.
yeah. And it's like you can't even take another team and move into Boston now because then it'll be like, well, why didn't you just do that with the Sun? So, yeah, they kind of need
The
to make
on-
that expansion announcement pretty soon to get people in the area excited for something down the line.
yeah, if like yeah, you can't just take another team and move them to Boston because you just did what you did with the Sun.
Yeah.
You got to make them have their own team.
Mm-hmm. Everything is about money. That's true. But Boston has shown for years now they have wanted a WNBA team. I feel like they've tried to move the Sun there a couple of times. So, yeah, I don't. Like, it's good that the Comets are coming back. Like, the Comets were the first dynasty in the league. I thought it was crazy that they were folded before, but obviously the economics then were a lot different than they are now. So the Houston Comets deserve to be a team in the WNBA. Yeah, I got one more year to root for the Sun, and then we will see where my fandom goes.
That's all my
Until
fun concerns.
yeah. Okay. I mean, I have one, and it's probably a quick one, but I don't know if you've heard. What is her name? Felicia Leggett Jack. You're probably wondering who that is. She's the Syracuse women's basketball coach. Syracuse went up against UConn the other day, got blown out, got their doors blown off. She goes to the press conference after and tries to pin it on the NCAA committee because it was the third year that Syracuse lost to UConn in the NCAA tournament. And she thinks that there is somebody on the committee that has it out for her in the school.
Oh boy.
I was like, one, it should motivate you to step your game up if you keep running into UConn who keeps embarrassing you. That's one. Two, do you think you would have done better in South Carolina's bracket? UCLA's bracket? They'd have blown you out too. So I don't understand why you, and plus, why would somebody on the committee have something against Syracuse? Not like Syracuse is some major player in women's basketball.
You know, the only response to that was appropriate was "Bye, Felicia."
That would have been hilarious if like somebody from the committee did say that. But
Bye. Like, get out my face with that bullshit. Bye, Felicia.
yeah, and it's not like okay, if a committee member was like, I got something against Don Staley, you'd probably be like, Don Staley's a big deal. I could see it. Who knows you that you're the Syracuse coach for somebody to have a personal issue with you? That's the part that drove me crazy. Clearly, you think higher of yourself than any other women's sports fan does, because unless you probably have a kid who goes to Syracuse or you're a Syracuse alum, you don't know who Felicia Jack is. So for the committee to have it, to put together 68 teams and go, let's screw Syracuse and make sure that they're with UConn is a stretch that I think you probably pulled something trying to make that stretch.
Yeah. She didn't stretch before that reach, and she pulled all the muscles that was necessary.
Yeah, that's like I heard that and I was like, there's no way you're gonna say that after a game with a straight face and act like and really think you're like blowing the top off of some conspiracy. I agree with this as well, Topper. Protect Dawn Staley at all costs. I'm so glad
the Knicks is wasting her time.
If she coached the Knicks, I'd probably have to force myself to hate her. I'm so glad she didn't get that job. Now she could coach the NBA for sure, but not that Knicks job. The Knicks fans would have treated her like crap. So yeah, I feel like if she leaves South Carolina, head to the W, become like a legendary coach in the W, and continue growing that brand.
Could have been an NBA head coach.
I mean, she absolutely could do it. People talk about all the time, oh, women coaching. There are women coaches I could see coaching in the NBA, and she's one of the few I feel like would do it and be successful at it. Chicago Sky fans, she'd bring discipline to the team. I'd tell you that.
Her and Angel wouldn't get along.
Huh?
Her and Angel would not get along.
Well, I bet you she'd move Angel out. I mean, she'd probably get the most out of Cardoso. Like, if I'm a Sky fan, yeah, I would want Dawn Staley too. I just wonder at what point does that happen? She could walk around, was it Columbia, South Carolina, and probably run the whole place, but at a certain point she probably makes the jump to the W.
Mm-hmm. Or just retire.
My conspiracy has been with Charlotte coming back. I think she played in Charlotte when she played in the WNBA. Like, what? I mean, imagine how that would look. The Charlotte, I think there was the Charlotte Sting, which I
Hmm.
hope they try to bring that back. But the Sting coming to the league, and Don Staley, former Sting player, is their inaugural head coach. I think that'd be great. So I mean, let's see. That's what a couple of years down the line. I'm sure the rumors will probably be there. I'd be
Hmm.
shocked if Charlotte doesn't ask her to be the head coach. See if she takes it. Yeah, that's all I had. I just heard that sound bite and I was like, you cannot be serious.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. But speaking of UConn, they won again today because they they basically just trolled teams at this point. North Carolina hung tough with them for about a half. Third quarter, UConn just absolutely blitzed them. Wizards could use Dawn. Don't do that to that woman's psyche.
Mm-mm.
She don't need that headache. Imagine her having to do with Trey Young. Oh no, 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 no. Like if Dawn Staley wanted to coach in the NBA, she would get a premier job. She would have earned that. So, yeah, that's all we got for you. Like I said, it was a fun show. Tapa, appreciate the uh, what was it, suggestions on players that we will do. Carmelo's definitely now written down. We'll work on him after Harden. I thought the KD thing was a lot of fun, and I don't know. Maybe we'll expand it beyond NBA. Who knows? I think some
What the
NFL
people
people
who
will
just
probably be
irk
a lot of
me?
fun to do it with too. But we'll probably say that for like NFL season.
Yeah, what people that just irk me, like Lamar Jackson.
I mean, yeah, because we could tackle the whole Lamar doesn't have any help. We could debunk that very easily.
Hmm.
Josh Allen would be a good one. Kirk Cousins, how he just keeps making money.
Yeah.
That man's agent must have the absolute top social skills. We could even use it with like players who just flamed out and where that went wrong. Odell.
Hmm. Even I always thought he was overrated.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we can definitely do that from now on. So I guess we just stumbled on a new segment for the show. But yeah, so I'll have to think of more. Look, like I said, if you think about between next Friday and between now and next Friday, drop into the Discord. We'll definitely take your suggestions. So, if any of you watching have not joined the Discord, please do so. We'd love to have you in there so you can give us suggestions like Tapa. I will drop the link really quickly. Where did it do? There. What is this? That. Here we go. All right. So that is the show's Discord link. Feel free to join it, join the conversations in there, and we'd love to have you. So before we go, Jory, you got anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No.
Okay. I mean, fun show once again. Also from the Discord, you will see links to our WordPress, Tumblr, all that. We have some stuff up there. Check that out as well. So we'll go ahead and get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week. We'll be back here next Friday to talk about a lot more stuff, have some laughs, get into some good conversations with you all because we just enjoy it. So for myself, J-Dub, Key, who couldn't be here on the show but was in the chat earlier. We are out of here. Enjoy yourselves. And make sure you're back next week. We're out of here. Bye.
Drop dubs, hit routes, so yeah, we on the move. From the paint to the pocket, got nothing to prove. Precision in the pass, rhythm in the run. Every play, every day, till the work is done.
Yeah. Step on the field, I'm reading the D. Eyes wide open, ain't fooling me. Pump fake sidestep, I'm breaking the press from baseline to sideline. I'm bringing my best, snap back, quick glance. I'm calling the play, hoop dreams and touchdowns. I'm making my way, no look behind the back. Fred in the scene, every angle, let me shout. I'm chasing the dream. Drop times, hit routes in the deep, no doubt. From the field to the hardwood, hear the crowd shout. Pass it, dish it, through traffic, we find